Hi there, Dave McSpadden here, founder and CEO of Rethink Age Institute and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Gonna Jump? Take a Parachute. I did the research, interviewed experts in a variety of fields, and worked non-stop on my book from March of 2011 until it published in November of 2011. And during this creative period, I learned a lot of amazing information that is waiting for you in my book. And along the way, I also learned that writing a book is the easy part. And what I discovered is the most difficult challenges of writing and publishing a book. And do you know what those might be? Well, really, the challenges come in two parts, regardless of how life-changing or priceless the information contained in the book might be. The first challenge is obvious. It's getting the book out and known to the public, right? But the second challenge is getting folks to slow down and pay attention long enough to actually buy the book, read it, and apply it to their lives. Put yourself in my shoes. Imagine that you're compiling the absolute truths that you know work from a lifetime of research and experience and putting the best of it into a book that you dream will touch and serve many thousands of lives, if not millions of lives, in a positive way, just as I have done in this book. And then find yourself faced with trying to figure out the best way to get it noticed, purchased, read, and applied to the reader's lives so that it truly does make a difference. Well, this is the challenge that I now face, and I'm going to ask for your help in resolving this challenge because I simply can't do it by myself. So, what's this book about and why did I write it? I can best explain that to you by telling you a very personal story. I was fortunate enough to attend and graduate from Life Mastery University at Tony Robbins' Namale Resort in Fiji back in 2003. And it was an intensive test of everything within me at the spiritual, the physical, emotional, mental, and health levels of my being. And during the first 5 days of Tony's challenges, we were also fasting and living on a very small cup of liquid wheatgrass each evening. On the second night of the university, we had a short break between classes, and my roommate and I were watching an incredibly beautiful sunset over the South Pacific. But as the colors of the sunset began to fade, he decided to go take a quick shower before we had to go back to class that night. I stayed on for a few more minutes, watched the sunset fade to gray on the clouds that had previously been lit up with every imaginable shade of red, orange, yellow, blue, and purple before returning to class. And then, just as I was about to leave, something quite miraculous began to occur. The colors of the sunset began to come back and grow even more vivid, and an almost complete second sunset was reborn in front of me. I couldn't believe my eyes. In fact, at first I thought I might be hallucinating from all that fasting and rigorous physical activity that we were going through. As I sat there, stunned at this inexplicable sight, a message of meaning of what I was seeing and feeling hit me hard. You see, I had just turned 60 the week before traveling to Fiji. And like many people, maybe like you, who cross the threshold of a new decade with their birthday, I was sort of revisiting my purpose for even being here on Earth. And this second sunset came with a question and a message in my heart and in my mind and in my soul. The question that hit me was that, like the second sunset, what if I had a second adult lifetime ahead of me? It was quite a thought. And as I continued to watch the colors intensify, again in awe, additional thoughts besides the prospect of a second adult lifetime raced through my head. Like, well, when does a person become an adult? And the answer came to me that by most cultures, the shift from adolescence to adulthood begins around age 14. So I just subtracted my age of 60 by 14 years, and that left 46 years to represent my next adult lifetime to be repeated. I took this thought of adding 46 years to a second adult lifetime to my then new age of 60 and clearly got the message that, I may live to 106. And this was not only a revolutionary message in my head, It felt absolutely right, and I believe it to this day. But then came the big hit of realization. You know, God may have a different plan than me living to 106. But if I am to live to 106, at least it's up to me to do whatever I can do to make sure that it is within my power of choice to get to that age with energy and with vitality. Now, contrast this line of thinking with the fact that most people, maybe you, never see themselves as the older person of tomorrow. So they just assume that everything, you know, their health, their family and friends, their fitness, their energy, vitality, all of that will always be the same as what they're feeling right now today. They cannot imagine that there may come a time when they may be too frail to drive a car, or to go shopping on their own, or to use their eyes to see images that they now take for granted, or to be able to hear the sounds of music and other sounds of the world, or conversations with loved ones, or that their world might actually shrink someday to consist of only the room where the TV is plugged in. You know, when you stop and think about it, they didn't have their world shrink that much based upon the decisions that they made this morning. It was an accumulation of what happened when they were developing their life choice habits in their age 30s and 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s. So they don't realize that they can learn to make balanced choices today that will determine how their lives are actually going to turn out tomorrow. And the same is true for you. But here's the good news for you. There is a broad and inspiring amount of information that can help you choose to avoid most of these issues in the future, depending upon your choices today. And this invaluable information and knowledge exists in Gonna Jump, Take a Parachute. The purpose of this book is to help you determine how to make the rest of your life the very best of your life by harnessing your power of choice today. Gonna Jump is designed to help adult men and women of all ages to purposefully create a compelling vision of their future and create more meaning, balance, and passion and vitality in their lives. It creates a map, which I like to say stands for a motivational action plan, to help adult men and women get from where they are in their lives today to where they want to be tomorrow. Now, this represents a short list of comparable titles that are of a similar genre as my book. Each chapter represents a cord of the parachute, this metaphorical parachute. And there are 12 chapters in the book, when you include the introduction, which covers the subjects that are listed here. The information and tips shared in this book give you the best practices and knowledge of the authors, researchers, experts that have come into my life, along, of course, with the insights from my own personal journey through my first adult lifetime. I have been so blessed by a number of very generous testimonials that fellow published authors have volunteered to be printed in my book. But you know, I am more interested in what you think of the book. So this brings us to two preliminary questions that I'd like to ask you to consider before we move forward. First, if you could increase the chances of you avoiding an early death and actually lengthen, energize, and vitalize your life by putting the best knowledge and practices of this book to use in your own life, and if you could positively and powerfully touch the lives of others that you know with the information in this book, would you be interested in checking it out? Now, since I can't see you nodding your head, I'm going to have to assume that your answer is the obvious, yes, why not? And continue on for just a moment. Now that we've established an introduction to my book, here's what I need for you to do for yourself and for those you love, and of course for me. Gonna Jump, Take a Parachute is available on Amazon.com in both paperback and Kindle versions. It is also available in the Barnes & Noble Nook Reader. It is my greatest wish that you read and apply the invaluable information in this book to your own life, and then share your newfound knowledge with the people that you know and love in your life, so that they can turn around and do the same. When you get your copy, I know that you'll find it serves you and helps you make the rest of your life the best of your life. And actually, if you just click on this button right here that says Buy Now, Amazon.com, it'll take you directly to the link to help you make that happen right this moment. And when it does, please pass on your recommendation to all of those that you know and love and care about to buy the book for themselves so that they too will be able to harness their power of choice and live young rather than growing old in the future as well. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video and considering the purchase of Gonna Jump? Take a Parachute. In the meantime, find a difference that you can make for someone and have a terrific day.